Well, we now cross over to the Supreme Court for a brief on what has been happening today during the Judicial Service Commission's interviewing of retired Justice Aaron Ringera for the vacant position of Chief Justice. Andrew Chieng is there. Andrew, how has Ringera fared, especially given his association with the infamous 2003 radical surgery?
Thank you very much, Trevor. The interview or the vetting of the retired Justice Ringera started at about 9 o'clock and it's just ended a couple of minutes ago. Very lengthy, but he was saying that it is very important that, and he was saying that all people, all judicial officers or everybody who is to be appointed to the judiciary should be taken through such a process. He is saying it has enabled him to ventilate on so many issues, some of which he has never talked about, some of which he has never revealed to anyone in his entire career, and probably since they started. He has talked about everything from his work before he came into public service as a Solicitor General, then he joined the Kenya Anti-Corruption Commission, then the Kenya Anti-Corruption Authority, then he became a judge. He's spoken about all this and some of the key issues that came about. The main one was his role in the radical surgery, as it was called back in 2003, where he played a critical role in a report that he drafted as a part of a 3-member committee where 23 judges were deemed unfit to continue being in office because of the corruption allegations against him. He was taken to task by members of the commission here who are asking him why he did not give those judges a chance to reply to those allegations against them. But in his defense, he is saying that his work was only to gather information and there was nothing else. He expected that after he had gathered the information on all these judges who were deemed to be corrupt, who had allegations of corruption against them, then a tribunal or the Judicial Service Commission at that time would listen to them and would give them an ear. He has said he doesn't regret any of the things he did in that radical surgery, in that purge, which has been criticized by many people in the legal profession and in the judiciary as well. So that was one of the issues that he was talking about. Though he says he does not regret it, the only regret he has is that the names of those judges were made public. But he says that some of them who agreed to go through a tribunal went through a tribunal, and some of them were cleared. He was also taken to task about a case he took in 1991. When he challenged the leaders of the LSK in engaging in political matters. Some of the commissioners who were asking that question were saying that he may be a person who may be easily influenced by the executive, but because then he was challenging issues of issues of freedom of speech, political participation, as well as the issue of the tenure of judges and whether they should have permanent tenure and whether and issues like that. So he was being taken to task by the commissioners who wanted to know why he did that. But he is saying he did it in a way to protect the Law Society of Kenya, because then he's saying there was a dictatorship and the Law Society was behaving in a manner in which it would easily become a proscribed institution, because several institutions at that time had become proscribed. He's also spoken about his transition in all these offices. Some of the commissioners were interested in knowing how he continued to serve as a High Court judge, yet he continued to sort of double with the executive a lot. While he was a High Court judge, he was made a Solicitor General. He moved to the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission, and now he is a judge at the Court of Appeal of the East African Court of Justice. So the members of the commission were wondering whether this doubling with the executive is really good for a person who will be a Chief Justice, and whether because of that doubling he might leave the position of the Chief Justice and go again and take another appointment at the executive. However, he is saying that all these appointments came because he was a brilliant man. He says he has been a brilliant man as a judge, as a lawyer, and that's why he was given all these appointments, and that's why even right now he has the appointment at the East African Court of Justice, in the Court of Appeal. Some of the issues he says he will do when he gets, if he assumes the position of the Chief Justice, He says he will improve the jurisdiction of the Supreme Court. Remember, the Supreme Court has had allegations, numerous of them, that it has been listening to some cases which it should not be listening to. Ringera says that one of his key issues will be to make the Supreme Court the special court that it was meant to be, and to listen to only matters of important constitutional matters. He's also been talking of how he will improve the judiciary through the training of judicial officers, continuous training, and making sure that proper judges, proper magistrates, proper staff of the judiciary are hired and trained regularly. One of the things he's talking about he will do perhaps very soon, if he is made the Chief Justice, is to improve the ICT system in the judiciary. He says that any lawyer should be able to access the legal system. A Chief Justice should be able to know what is going on in the judiciary just by the click of a button. And this is really making ICT important in the judiciary. Remember, Ringera is probably the first substantial judicial officer to be interviewed among those people who had not been initially shortlisted by the Judicial Service Commission. Yesterday, it was Paul Udoto Kongani, and today it is Justice Aaron Ringera who has had that opportunity. And the others will be coming in probably from tomorrow as the day progresses, as the interviews progress. Trevor?
All right, thanks, Andrew. That's Andrew Ching speaking to me live from the Supreme Court. A very comprehensive coverage of the day Aaron Ringera faced the JSC Commission for the open position of the Chief Justice.